Salut les Ultrarockers, on a rendez-vous à la Maroquinerie à Paris ce soir pour le concert de Monster Truck et SIMO. J'ai le plaisir ce soir de rencontrer SIMO, donc le frontman et guitariste emblématique du groupe. Jay, it's a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you too. Thank you for having me.
You will play tonight in Paris. You'll be in London in 2 days, I think.
Yeah, I believe so. 2 or 3 days. Yeah.
Exactly.
I haven't memorized the schedule yet, but yeah, we go from here to the UK for about the better part of a week.
You'll be back. Brando told me you'll be back in the US around 15 April.
Yes.
Let Love Show the Way has been released for 4 months around. What are the first returns you have about the second album?
Well, I mean, it's because we're kind of a living, breathing band. You know, like we're already playing a good 6 or 7 songs that are going to be on the next record.
Yeah.
So, you know, in that regard, it feels already very old to us.
I guess.
But at the same time, you know, it's been a wonderful process because, you know, up until this point, we've very much been, you know, a kind of do-it-yourself kind of an act. You know, we spent years without management, without a record label, without proper, you know, booking agents and the like. And so this whole process has been almost like, you know, even though we've been a band for 5 years, it feels like the beginning,
yes,
as it were, and so that's been really, really fun for us, and I'm grateful that, you know, I for one, I avoid reading stuff about us, and to me it's more important to just keep pointed forward, and it, you know, that stuff, you know, I don't pay attention, and I do it on purpose, but from, you know, just from people coming to see us and speaking to gentlemen like yourself, you know, I'm grateful. But you know, we're already ready to make a better record than we just released. You know.
At first listening, we are immediately in SIMO atmosphere. I think, by my opinion, we feel a total complicity, fusion, if you can say that,
sure,
between both of you in the band. How did you work on the composition of the album?
It was very, there wasn't a lot of forethought put into it. It just kind of happened. We made the record in less than 2 days, and we recorded way more material than was needed first, and then when it was time to kind of compose the record, as it were, it was just simply trying to find what seemed to go well together and try and give a decent cross-section of whatever was the best material that we had recorded that we had. And I think that you know, just like any other record, I think that that's the goal. And so, you know, we ended up with this pile of songs that seemed to be cohesive together, and then it was just about trying to find a nice, gentle flow. And you know, I'm still pleased. I'm still, even months later, I'm pleased with how we did that. I think that it's you know, I'm happy with how the record flows from start to finish.
For me, your music is a mix between technical precision and something quite hovering, out of time. What is the recipe of a SIMO blues rock song? If there is one.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of different, you know, because for us you know, there's kind of 2 ways that we function. There's the structured song, which has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And then there's the improvisational element of what we do, which has a beginning and an end, but is open in a jazz way. So, and the thing is that I think, you know, what I say all the time is that if the 3 of us had to just play 3-minute songs all night, we would be very miserable. And if all we did was jam all night, we'd be pretty miserable too. It's the combination of the 2. So it just depends. I mean, I think that, you know, it's clear when we're writing, you know, what the song should be, you know, and then in the live context, we don't as a rule, kind of pre-plan where the improvisations are going to take place.
Yeah.
Because then they happen in a natural way. Because that's something that I think has become a bit contrived in the last several decades when it comes to what is deemed improvisation. You know, deciding that you're gonna jam or something is the antithesis of what it should be. Like the bands that I love from 40, 50 years ago, you know, whether it be Cream or the Allman Brothers Band or something like that, what made them beautiful is that it was spontaneous and it happened when the energy in the room meant for it to happen.
It's exactly what I heard about your band the first time I typed SIMO on Google, and I saw that you put improvisation at the first, the main part of your life on technical basis.
Yeah, on a technical basis.
But this makes each concert unique moment.
Yeah, no, every night is, there's, you know, we never play the, well, first of all, we never play the same set every night as a rule. We play a different show every night. But the improvisational element of what we do makes every night very different, you know. But that's what, but the thing is that I will say that, you know, as time, as we, you know, because we're at, tonight is like show 47 for the year for us. We just finished 46 shows in the US just 2 days ago. And as more time goes on, it is about finding, it's about the balance between the two, because it can definitely, in a live show, it can teeter one way or the other. And for us, when we get off stage and feel the best, it's when there's been a nice balance, you know, and that's something that as the band continues to progress and as we make the next record and so on and so forth, and as we move into the future, that's something that I think will continue to get better and better, because for what it is that we're trying to do, there's the only precedents that really exist for it are long gone, so we have to kind of find it for ourselves, as it were, you know.
And that way, when we type JD SIMO on the internet, we see virtuosity, ultra technician, but in the other way. So many adjectives in that way. But and I see you guys very simple, very in the good way of the term for sure. I feel a real authenticity in your musician approach. How do you feel about those adjectives?
I don't really. I mean, you know,
you don't really pay attention at all.
Well, no, and I think that you know, if anybody, it's just like if I give you a compliment, like anything that's meant to build someone up, I'm all about. You know, I think that, and I appreciate it. I think it's important for one not to view themselves as anything other than a human being, because I think that pretension and a lot of things that I think are anti-music, they creep in easier when you're maybe more self-aware in what I consider a negative context. I just like to think of, in basic terms, like, you know, how do I feel? If I don't feel good, how can I feel good? How can I, you know, just in a general sense. It's not even like about music necessarily. It's about, you know, being happy, being joyful if I can, and trying to be positive. And I think that music should be, you know, I think that music, no matter in a structured form or not, it should be the reflection of who someone is on the inside. And I think that if you're, you know, and that's where if you're stretching to try and be a good person and you're trying to live a good life, I think that then that hopefully will be reflected in what you do. And so for me, it's more about trying to concentrate on the more humanist side and less on the tangible music business, you know, kind of cerebral thinking. Because I think that all things find their way out in the way that they're supposed to, in a cosmic way. Can you tell I'm a hippie?
Sure. So. You play on a Gibson Les Paul, original dated in 1960.
Yeah.
Is it your best friend or your best enemy you have to control?
Oh, no. The guitar, no matter if I'm playing that one or another one, your guitar is your whatever your instrument is. You could be a drummer, you could be whatever. that should be your conduit to connect to whatever you want to call, you know, collective consciousness. If you want to call it God, you can call it God. If you want to call it, you know, the air that we breathe, whatever. It should be the most peaceful, beautiful thing in the world. I don't think it's something that I necessarily. It's not. Because it's something that you're never fully in control of. I think that it's. And I think that trying to, I understand why you said that, because I think that in trying to control it,
I see it
it's the antithesis of what, my philosophy for it is much more about freedom and expression than it is about the cerebral, this is what I want to come out of this. I want, what I want to come out is I want whatever is supposed to come out on an emotional level, you know.
Your album has been released with the label Mascot, same as Monster Truck. For example, guys like Joe Bonamassa. Do you feel a kind of nostalgia of 70s rock music in your audience?
Somewhat, yeah. I mean, it's tough to say because you know, it's. There absolutely is, yeah. But there's in the States, at least, I mean, again, we're just coming off a tour in the States. It was interesting to me how the majority of the people that were coming on a regular basis, though, were people that were like either college age to a little older than me, you know, people in their early mid-30s. But that being said, it's always a peppering. So again, I don't really pay that much attention. But yeah, I mean, the 70s element, you know, the way that we make records and the kind of, in a lot of ways, I think the ideals with which that we, you know, hold, you know, important as a group definitely are more aligned with bands from that era for sure. But then again, I mean, you know, we're all relatively similar in age, the three of us, and you know, there's bands like Nirvana that we grew up with when we were kids that personified those things as well. You know what I mean? So I think that, yeah, there's definitely, from a marketing standpoint, I think that there's a bit of that throwback kind of element that's becoming somewhat popular these days. But, you know, to me, I don't view bands from the grunge scene that I grew up with as a kid as all that different, really, from an improvisational element and also from an emotive. Does that make sense?
I'm okay with
you know
that.
What I mean?
Perfectly, yes. So, band or simply a song made you jump into rock music?
Oh, well, for me it was I saw Elvis Presley on television when I was a little kid, and I just thought it was the greatest thing ever, and came to find out that that was correct. He was, I think. He just blew my mind. Him on I saw the comeback, the '68 comeback special was airing on television when I was really young. I was 3 or 4 years old, and I just thought it was the coolest damn thing, and I still think so.
I have to do it.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and Scott, and the thing that's cool about that is Scotty Moore was playing guitar in that thing.
If you had one memory to share with us of your musician life on stage or outside, what will it be?
Oh, jeez. I think that it's a really good question.
It's quite difficult, but
no, all right, I'll go eat this. Okay, so you know, the title of our record is "Let Love Show the Way." It's a song. We wrote a song. A song is on it's on the record.
Yeah.
The basis of it. But the thing that I appreciate about that statement is because, if nothing else, you know, I'm proud to be in a band that is advocating a sentiment that I truly think is really important. And it just happened. It wasn't necessarily something that we thought too much about. But as we continue to kind of promote the album and all that, I just love that people have to say that in conjunction to something that I do. And so in regards to your question, I think that it's important that if you're going to play music, you should, you know, there's the kind of the jive aspect of it. There's the wanting to be wealthy, wanting to be successful, all those kind of things, which are important. They have their place. I mean, everybody's got to make a living and so on and so forth. But I think that there's the ethical side of it that plays into the artistic side of it that I think should be taken very seriously. I think that you should, you know, I think the world has plenty of things that are angry. I think the world has plenty of things that are confused. And I think that, you know, one of the reasons why I think the three of us are so drawn to music from an era, you know, several decades ago is because of that it was so pure. And that there was an essence of wanting to try and influence the world in a better way on a cosmic level amongst that generation. And like I said, I actually think, you know, I talk about Kurt Cobain and Nirvana a lot because I feel like Kurt, as broken as he was, I feel like one of the reasons why he tapped into it and was so successful is because he was tapping into that thing. He was tapping into that I'm broken, but I want to do well, and I want to express an emotion.
I want to share it.
Yes, you know, and be vulnerable, you know, because that's the other thing. We as human beings, we're insecure, which makes us jealous, which makes us all these types of things, and it's like we are all the same in that. We all share those things, and so we want to, and so and the thing about music is classically for thousands of years has brought us together because it's a way that we can all stand together.
We have unity.
Yes, and enjoy something, you know. And so I think that as far as playing music is concerned, I'm really proud to be in a group that, you know, if nothing else, if you don't like our music, if you think I'm full of shit, whatever, it's like at least, you know, it's like the title of our record is something that I think is important. And I'm glad that forever after, long after I'm gone, if those pieces of vinyl or CDs or something still exist, it'll have my name attached to a sentiment that I think is important.
Eddie, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
SIMO Monster Truck en concert à la Maroquinerie, c'est ce soir à Paris et c'est avec Ultrarock. JD, thanks a lot.
Thank you, man. God bless you.
Ouais,